One of the things that people often will tell me is that I tend to get a lot done. Now, here's the thing. I don't necessarily even feel like that's true, because all I see is the things that I don't get done. But there's a lot of people who look at me and they say, my gosh, you're able to do all kinds of things and you get so much done. You get a lot accomplished in what seems like a short amount of time. How do you do it? And so I wanted to just talk through how I execute, because here's the thing. One of the things that I'm very willing to admit is that I'm not good at a lot of things. But if I really think about it, the one thing that I tend to be really good at is if I decide to do something, I can make it happen. And I tend to not let excuses that are pretty common that might keep other people from doing it, I tend to not let those excuses keep me from doing what I want to accomplish. As I've talked to friends and as I've talked to family, I've realized that that's not all that common. Not to say that I'm better than anybody, I don't think that at all. There's lots of people who are far more accomplished and can do a lot more and have done a lot more than I have. But this is one area where I think I might be able to help you. If maybe you get stuck in a loop where you feel like you want to do something, you have a goal, you have a desire, you even have a vision of something you want to accomplish, but you often find yourself always learning about it, or always thinking about it, or always planning on, I'm going to do it at some point in the future, but you never actually just do it, then I think this might be able to help you. Because as good as I might be right now and have been for the last couple years in my life at getting things done and executing on things I want to do, that wasn't always the case. Because for a long time, I wanted to make money online. I wanted to write books. I wanted to have an online business. I wanted to build courses. I wanted to build a brand. I wanted an online platform. I wanted to make a difference with teaching content online. I wanted to start a YouTube channel, a podcast, all of those things. And what I found myself doing in large part was learning about those things. I took courses and I would read books and I would watch YouTube videos endlessly, just watch video after video after video. And I would listen to something, a podcast or watch a video, and I would get an idea and I would go, oh, that's great, I'm gonna do that. Then I'd move on to the next video, and guess what? I'd forget about the last thing that I watched. I would buy a course thinking this course is gonna be the thing that sets me on course to be able to do what I wanna do. And I was frustrated for a long time just looking for what is the plan that I need to follow. And even though I'm bent towards execution, I'll do what I need to do, I found myself stuck in this loop of education. Just, I need to know more. If I just knew more, then I could do it. And maybe that's where you are. So what had to change is I needed to do a few things that I think if you do these few things, you might be able to turn the corner as well and start executing instead of being caught in this continual loop of desire and not being able to pull it off. So here are the things that I did that I think you should definitely do as well. The first thing is you have to build out time to actually work. And here's what I mean. Learning is something that you can pretty much do while you're doing something else. So I can listen to a podcast, I can watch a YouTube video while I'm doing the dishes, while I am mowing the yard, while I am driving to work, while I'm doing mindless activity. I can listen to things, I can watch things, I can read, but I can't work passively. So I actually have to set time aside to actually go and do something. For me, this is in the mornings. I have a whole video about waking up at 5 a.m. You can go check that out if it's something that you're interested in looking into. But whether it's 5 a.m. or whether it's 8 p.m. or whatever time it is that works for you around your job and around what other responsibilities you have, if you want to do something like write a book, like start an online business, like build a brand, or do YouTube, or do a podcast, or do more woodworking, or whatever you want to do, you have to set time aside to actually work. Not just learn, but work. The second thing that I tend to do, I tend to learn only what I need to do the next step. This has been huge for me, and it's brought me out of that loop of always learning and never actually able to accomplish anything. I will learn something and then go do it. So the best thing that ever happened to me is I took a course by Graham Cochran. It was a course about how to build an online business. And what I decided to do when I took that course was to watch a lesson and then not watch the next lesson until I had accomplished what he said to do in the first lesson, and then in the second lesson, then in the third lesson. I was able to actually implement the course in real time before moving on to other parts of the course, and that was huge for my progress. Learn just as much as you need and then go do it. Go execute on what you've learned, and don't let perfectionism get in the way. A lot of times people want to perfect what they're doing before they ever put it out in the world. And you just can't do that. The only way to perfect something is to iterate on it. And the only way to iterate on something is to do it, and then to do it again, and do it again, and do it again. So I'll give you an example. So I do YouTube. I've got 2 or 3 channels. One of the channels that I have is called Preaching Donkey. When I look at the first videos on that channel, they are awful. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to talk to a camera. I didn't know how to set up lighting. It looked bad and it sounded bad. It was just bad. But guess what? I did it anyway. I made a video and I put it up. Then I made another one and I put it up. And I made another one and I put it up. And eventually, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 videos in, I finally started to get the hang of it, okay? But guess what? If I had waited and never put a video up until I was perfect and sure that it was ready and it had perfect lighting and perfect audio and perfect sound, I would have missed out on 50 videos worth of people, 50 videos worth of learning, 50 videos worth of building an audience, 50 videos worth of iterating. And so my question for you is, what are you putting off until it's perfect that you can't really perfect until you put it out? That's made the hugest difference for me, is actually setting aside time. That's number one. Cutting the learning down, okay? Cutting the learning, not just in case learning. I'm not gonna do just in case learning. I'm doing just in time learning. I learn it just in time to go implement it. And then I don't worry about perfection. I just don't. There are things that I've put out in the world that I'm a little bit embarrassed of, I'll be honest. There are things that I put out in the world that I cringe when I look at it. Videos that I've made, or even blog posts that I've done, podcast episodes that I've done, and I look at them and I go, what was I thinking? But here's what I was thinking. I was thinking done is better than perfect, okay? Done is better than perfect. It's so much better to just get it out in the world and be done with that, because there's not gonna ever be a perfect piece of content. And guess what? Tomorrow, you can build another piece of content. The next day, you can build another piece of content. And most people, they're not studying your content well enough to make a judgment. They're just happy if you provide them value today. And so for me, when it comes to executing and getting things done, if I set the time aside and I make it uninterrupted, I learn just enough to take the next step, and then I make myself take the step. And then I don't worry about perfection. Guess what? I can get a whole lot done. I've written multiple books. I've made multiple YouTube channels. I've had podcasts. I've done things that a lot of people are maybe desirous to do, but few people actually pull the trigger and make it happen. And what's going to set you apart, and what has set me apart, and I'm not bragging, this is just truthful. What's going to set you apart is when you're the one who actually does it. And you don't worry about perfection. You don't worry about the timing. You don't worry about making everything perfect. You just do it. You don't do it sloppy. I'm not saying do sloppy work. I'm saying done is better than perfect. All day long, every day of the week. That's it for today. If you're interested in more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. And also, you can grab my free 5-step guide to writing a best-selling book if you go to lanesebring.com/5steps, because often we talk about self-publishing on this channel, and we talk about personal development and online business. So be sure to give this video a like, share it with a friend if you got value out of it, and I will see you in the next video.